Hey everyone, in this video we are going to walk through all the bells and whistles of the editor. So to get to the editor, we're going to start by clicking the Vault button and then selecting the project that we want to work in. So I'm now in my project panel and I'm going to go ahead and click this Editor tab. At the top of the editor, you'll see a Edit button in the upper left-hand corner. This is going to allow me to drag and drop to rearrange any of my content pieces, or I can select an item and you'll see that this activates the move and the trash icon in that top navigation bar. So if I want to move this selected piece of content, I can select the move icon and then select the project and folder that I want to move it into. Once I've selected a folder, I would then click the move button in the upper right corner. In this case, I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to click cancel on the upper left, and it's going to take me back to edit mode in my editor. So I'm going to go ahead and deselect that piece of content there. And now at the bottom of the screen, you'll see this add sibling folder and add child folder option. So if you think about a book, for example, you have your title, and then within that title, you have all these other individual chapters. So a sibling folder would basically be like adding another chapter, where a child folder would be similar to adding a sub-chapter within a chapter. So for this example, let's go ahead and add a sibling folder, and we're going to call this Hiking Adventure. So once I'm done in this rearrange mode, I can click edit at the top left, and that's going to deactivate the rearrange option. Moving over to the upper right corner, you'll see this AI button. This is where I can come in and adjust any of my app and automation settings. So at the top, we have some general settings here. If I scroll down a little bit, you'll see I have ID8 automation. So for example, if I don't want the system to automatically transcribe my recordings, I could come over here and toggle that option off. If I want to change the TTS voice that is automatically used, I can click select and then pick one of the options from this list here. To preview a voice, you can select an option and then click the play button down at the bottom.
This is a sample of a text-to-speech voice.
And you can hear what some of these different voices sound like. Once I've selected an option, I'll click select in the upper right-hand corner, and that'll take me back to my settings page. If I scroll down a little further here, I can edit any of these default prompts. Or at the bottom, I have some more content and notification settings that I can adjust. When I'm finished modifying my settings, I'll go ahead and click done in the upper right hand corner, and that's going to take me back to my project panel. So to get back to the editor, I'm going to go ahead and click that editor tab again, and I am back in the editor for this project. At the top here, I have my main project title. If I want to change that, I can go ahead and click in that title bar, and that's going to open this Gen option. So if I click this drop down arrow here, I can modify this prompt that was used to generate that title and then click Gen Title. These white arrows on the side of each piece of content will open a series of options. So if I hit this collapse button, that's going to hide everything that is within that particular folder. And then to re-show that again, I can click Expand. This next button will allow me to add another folder within this particular folder. If I want to change the folder image, I can click this ImaGen button, and that's going to generate a cover image based on the content within that folder. So you can see this gave me a campsite up on a cliff overlooking the ocean with the sunset off in the distance, which are all things that I talked about in my original audio recording. So that's a really cool feature there. The next option, I have edit image. If I select that, I can edit the prompt that it's using to create that image. Or if I decide that I don't want this folder in this particular project, I can click this move option and select a different project and folder to move that to. And then of course the last option here is the trash option, which will delete the folder entirely. Between each piece of content, you'll see I have these add bars. On the left-hand side of each bar is the ID8 icon. So if I click that, it's going to open an ID8 Chat, and it's going to input whatever I create there between these two pieces of content. So I'll go ahead and click that there, and you'll see that it is ready for me to record my idea. And then once I save that, it's going to drop it right here between this text piece and this image. On the right hand side of the add bar is a plus icon. This is going to allow me to add different content pieces. So the first option here is a text box. This is going to input a simple text box with basic editing features. So maybe I want to add a little more detail. Awesome. And then I'll click save, and I added that little piece of content into my project there. I could also add a heading. I could insert attachments, images, video URLs. I could insert any files from my uploads folder, or I could add additional sibling or child folders. Below this piece of content, you'll see this little details button. If I click that, it's going to show me all my file information, so date, time, size, duration, word count, all that kind of stuff. And it's also going to show me the prompt that was used to rewrite that piece of content. And then down at the bottom here, you'll see your AI usage. So to close this screen, I'm going to go ahead and click done in the upper right corner, and I am back into my editor. If I want to edit an existing piece of content, like maybe there's a couple words I want to change or a couple small details I want to add, I can simply double click on that piece of content, and that's going to open my basic text editor. So here I can make any edits and changes that I want to make. You'll notice this also opened the play bar up at the top here. So if I want to listen back to the TTS audio that was generated for this piece, I can do that right there. And then when I'm done making any edits, I'll go ahead and make sure to click this orange save button. This little web icon here is going to turn on my prompt engine. So if I click that, you'll see in the upper right corner of my chat window, the prompt engine is orange, indicating that it is active. You'll also notice this orange check mark on this specific piece of content. So any prompts or additional recordings that I add is going to be applied to this specific piece of content and not the entire project. Once I'm done working in this chat window, I can click close in the lower left corner, and that'll take me back to my editor. On the left side of each piece of content, you'll notice these vertical bars. If I click that, it's going to open a series of color options. So this is kind of your own internal flagging system for this particular piece of content. Let's say I want to make sure I come back and edit it before I finalize my project. So for that, I might use this red option, this piece of content up here at the top. If I'm happy with that and don't need to do any more editing, I might make that one green, just so I know as I'm going through this, I can easily see which pieces are done and finalized and which pieces I still need to edit. By default, it's going to automatically be a gray bar here. If I click here on the very left side of my screen, it's going to essentially open a table of contents. So as your project gets longer, you can easily click that side panel and then select the folder that you want to go to, and it will automatically jump to that place in your project. Once I'm done working in my project, I can click that done button in the upper right hand corner, and that's going to take me back to my project panel. Hopefully this was helpful, and we will see you in the next video.